Welcome back everyone. Today I'm kicking things off because that says we're talking about life. And I've got one question for you, Dad. How did life actually start here?
Great question. Well, after Earth got all set up with oceans, mountains, and a good atmosphere, it was like a pot of hot khichuri, bubbling and waiting for something special to happen. But how did that magic start? Let's dive in.
Khichuri? Like the one we eat on a rainy day.
Exactly. Just like khichuri needs rice, lentils, spices, and a bit of time to come together, life on Earth needed some key ingredients like water, carbon, and energy. And then nature stirred it all together in its own magical way.
So there was a hot khichuri ready. But how did it get life? Did someone just add a spoon of magic?
Not quite, but you were close. Life needed a few important ingredients. The oceans had water, there was carbon, the stuff that makes up everything alive, and we had energy from things like lighting and the sun. All these things came together in a process that scientists call abiogenesis, which is a fancy word for life coming from non-living stuff.
Wait, like the oceans were a giant mixing bowl, and lighting was the spoon that mixed everything together.
Exactly. And just like you need the right ingredients to bake a cake, life needed the right conditions too. In fact, there is a famous experiment by a scientist named Miller that showed how lighting can turn simple chemicals into amino acids, which are building blocks of life.
Okay, so amino acids are like Lego blocks, but how they turn into life?
Great question. Those amino acids kept bumping into each other, forming bigger, more complex molecules. Eventually, some of them become RNA, which is basically the commands for building life. Imagine if Lego blocks suddenly build a working robot.
So was that the first thing, living thing?
Not quite yet. We needed one more thing: membranes. These are like the walls that hold everything together inside a tiny bubble. When RNA got inside one of those bubbles, boom, life began.
So life started as a bubble with comments. That's so weird.
It might sound weird, but it worked. These tiny bubbles, called protocells, were the great grandparents of everything alive today, from dinosaurs to you and me.
Whoa! So we all came from one tiny cell. That's crazy.
That's pretty much it. The first living things were tiny cells, way smaller than anything we can see without a microscope. These little cells were super simple. They didn't have eyes or mouths or even brains. They were just like little blobs of life, floating around in the ocean. But they could do something amazing. They could grow and divide, which is how life spreads.
So like they just multiplied themselves. That's kind of like when you plant seeds in the garden and they grow into new plants.
Exactly. These cells just kept multiplying, and over millions of years, they turned into more complex life. It was not magic though. It was chemistry and energy working together, like how a seed grows into a tree if it gets the right care.
Okay, so we've got bubbles, but how did they turn into like dinosaurs or me?
Ah, now we are talking evolution. Those protocells were not perfect. They made copies of themselves, but sometimes the copies had little mistakes. Some mistakes were bad, but others made the bubble stronger or faster. Over millions of years, these stronger ones survived and changed into more complex forms.
Like leveling up in a video game. I like video games.
Yeah, I know. Fast forward billion of years and you get multicellular life. Organism made of more than one cell. Think of it like a team coming together to build something very special.
So life is a basically teamwork.
That's one way to put it. Every plant, animal, and person is proof of that teamwork, starting with those tiny bubbles.
Okay, but why do we need to know all this? It was a long time ago.
Absolutely true. But understanding where life came from help us appreciate how incredible and fragile it is. Plus, it shows that life can survive in the hardest conditions, which gives scientists hope for finding life on other planets.
Wait, so there could be aliens out there?
Maybe. But that's a story for another episode. For now, let's just appreciate that we are all part of this amazing ongoing journey of life. And that's how life began, one tiny bubble at a time. In our next episode, we will explore how those early organisms transformed Earth into the planet we know today, complete with plants, animals, and some crazy twist along the way.
Wait, will there be dinosaurs, please?
Getting closer, buddy. But first, let's see how Earth become a living, breathing world.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
And let us know in the comments if you are loving this cosmic adventure. See
See
you
you
in the next episode.
episode.